Hello, I'm Carolyn Bubert with the League of Women Voters of Portland, and you're watching our video voters guide, or you might be listening to it on podcast. We're interviewing candidates in the general election on November 8th, and we're grateful for the support from several individuals and foundations, the Carol and Velma Sailing Foundation, the Weiss Foundation, the League of Women Voters of Portland Education Fund, and our media partner, Metro East Community Media. With me today is Shira Newman, who is running for Oregon State Legislature, District 42, which is the Portland's Central East Side, Hosford, Abernethy, and Hawthorne, and a little bit south of that. Welcome, Ms. Newman.
Thank you.
Please tell us a little about yourself and why you're running for this office.
I'm running for this office as a libertarian because the libertarians in Oregon have ballot access, and we don't necessarily have a very deep bench to put candidates out there. And coming from someplace like Georgia, where ballot access for anyone but Republicans or Democrats is almost nothing, I felt it was important for someone to be on the ballot, and I'm someone, so now I'm on the ballot. I have run before for other offices, a lot of times for information for voters, and I feel that I'm just as qualified as anyone else. I'm a person who lives in Oregon who really loves where I live.
Thank you. Do you support or oppose the gun safety measure, which is measure 114 on the November ballot? And then please explain your answer.
I do not support that ballot measure. I think that it is too broad, first of all, to be something we should be supporting. Second of all, I don't think that we at this point need to be creating more laws to be enforced. And this is putting a lot of pressure on the top people in the law enforcement environment to be the people who are the gatekeepers of who is allowed and who is not allowed to have a gun. It really says the sheriff is the person who would be approving or not approving for someone to have a gun. And I don't think that that is appropriate. We shouldn't be gatekeeping for something like our Second Amendment rights. We shouldn't be gatekeeping using gun control as a good old boys network, which it seems like it could become with this type of legislation. Gun control in our history is basically to keep guns out of minority hands, and this could definitely do that.
Thank you. What steps, if any, should the legislature take in addressing the climate emergency and its impact on Oregonians?
This is a tough question for me. I really think that less government is usually better, and I haven't seen anything from any state government or the federal government really that is really helpful in this situation. In fact, California is banning gas vehicles just as they can't supply electricity to their people. So I don't think that government intervention is really very helpful in that venue. We don't have the electrical infrastructure to support going all electrical, number one. Number two, electric isn't carbon neutral. It isn't clean energy, and us thinking that it is and just going towards electric for no reason. And I have been saying this for 10 years, so not just because I work for the gas company. We just don't have the infrastructure, and it doesn't really matter. Natural gas is certainly cleaner. Nuclear is the cleanest, but nobody wants to put a nuclear plant. And I haven't seen anything from state governments to show us that there is any ability to understand what is really happening with our infrastructure and how it works and why electricity might be better. The electrical companies are loving that everyone wants to go electric, but it's not really a very good option.
Thank you. What more could Oregon do to help people move into safe and stable housing?
Again, similar to the last answer, I don't think that Oregon has been doing anything. They have been passing more laws and taxing us more and spending hundreds of millions, billions of dollars and not solving anything, making things worse and worse and worse on a daily basis. Our taxes are really, really high for what we're getting. I live in the city of Portland, and in the city of Portland, it's really, really bad. I took my friend out somewhere yesterday and she was just astonished at the tents everywhere. I think that we make it really difficult to do anything. We make it really difficult to build new buildings. Some of the laws in the city of Portland have made it even more difficult than in Oregon. I'm not sure the state has the capacity to do much of anything except, I don't know, write more memorandums. The local governments really are where things should be happening, and what the local governments should be doing, which this job is not. It is for the state legislatures, but the local governments should be making everything easier, not harder. It's very hard to build. It's very hard to get permits. It's very hard to deal with the city. It takes a long time. But again, as a state government, I'm not sure there's a whole lot that can be done from the state level.
Okay, we've got about 30 seconds left, so we'll squeeze one more in. What state action would you take to implement the limits on campaign contributions and expenditures that Oregon voters approved in 2020?
I'm not really sure exactly. We have a whole bunch of people working on the the Secretary of State's office, and they should be able to implement what we have passed by themselves. I'm not sure what more can be done on the state level.
Thank you. So you're listening to the Video Voters Guide, or you might be listening on podcast from the League of Women Voters of Portland. And I'm here with Shira Newman, who's running for Oregon State Legislature District 42. Thank you for listening, and remember, your vote really does count.